here we go. Here we are, the 16th of February. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Art 21001, and here's 16th. Due today is the vegetable head, and most people have sent that. Anybody have any issues with that?
No. I sent you mine like an hour ago.
All right. Well, you after class, you'll get a return receipt when I find it.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I'm going to give you a talk about image resolution, and then we're going to do a tutorial, and which is tutorial 4. And then we're going to talk about, I think what I want to do is the image resolution. And I think I want to do a little overview with regards to image resolution on where we are, kind of just do an overview to make sure we're all on the same page in the first couple weeks that we've covered all the same stuff. But first of all, I'll start with this banana. Can everybody see this banana? Okay, good. Well, here's a banana for you. Now, we know that if I just scroll with my scroll bar, I can scroll up and scroll down. And that's not making the image any larger. This image size is right here, and it's 4 by 4 by 100, resolution 100. That's the size of it. This is the width, the height, and the resolution. Resolution is pixel. How many pixels per inch? And if I look up here, I can get real close, and there you see the pixels per inch. So if I got an inch up here, if I go, you can see an inch. There's 3 to 4 inches, so there's 100 pixels this way and that way. Here I got it in the title, 8 by inch by 100 pixels per inch. I'm going to go down here to I've got all these all loaded up here. I'm going to go to the 4 by 4. The 4 by 4 is one I have engaged. I've got 4 of these images. They're all the same, but the resolution and the size differs. And so if I go down here and to the bottom left-hand corner, I can see this number's percentage. And that's 768%. That's in ratio to the pixels per inch. So if I go down and make that 100%, that means that this 4 by 4 inch square is 1-to-1, 100, 1 pixel to 100%. It's 1-to-1 to screen resolution. So that's 100% is, so if I go 200%, then it's the image is not any bigger, it's only larger. It looks larger because it's twice as large as obviously 100%. In ratio to screen resolution, image size, it's the same. It's 4 by 4 by 100. So that's important to know, that the ratio of the resolution, it has to do with screen resolution, which it began, everybody's screen is not necessarily the same. In olden days, everybody's screen was 72 DPI, but screens are different sizes right now. But the ratio will work with the percentage here in the sense of when I scroll to make this bigger, the percentage gets larger, and it's to that, whatever that screen resolution is, 72 DPI or 100 pixels per inch. So I'm going to go and see how this works with the same image at 4 by 4, and I've got 4 by 4 by 200, twice as big. So if I was to take this, I'm going to float this banana. Oops. Well, I pull it over, which is kind of what I wanted to do. I pull it over from, there it is floating around right there. And I drop that over. and it's exactly the same size. Oops, put this behind. 4 by 4 by 100, you can see that it goes into, this is the full canvas size. I'm gonna put this at 100%. And this, I gotta move this off, need to move this over. That's at 100%. So you can see when I drag this over to fit into what is twice as big resolution from 100 to 200, but the same size, 4 by 4. This is 4 by 4 by 100, and you can see it's twice as big because it goes the. I have 4. I should say that this way. I have 4 quadrants because the screen resolution is 100 by 100 here, but 200 by 200 here. So it's 4 times as big when I double the resolution. Now, if I was to go and take this, see what I got here, 8 by 8 by 200, and I pull this banana over. This is on my original, 4 inches by 4 inches by 100. This is 8 inches by 8 inches by 200. So it's not only twice as big, it's twice the pixel dimension is this smaller one at 100 ratio screen to canvas, 100, 100. And I pull that over, I can see it's not only, it comes in 4 quadrants. So I got 4 times as much because of it's twice as big and the size is twice as big. Now, that is as simple as I can say that. Does everybody get this? When I'm looking over here and I see you kind of nod, that means that you kind of understand. All right, let's go take a look at this. I'm gonna go back to my my 4 by 4. Let's put this into the screen. There's my original 4 by 4. If I go up here, and I just want to explain that. So we're getting this kind of the relationship between image size 4 by 4 and image resolution, and the various sizes and the various relationship between the various sizes 8 by 8 by 200, how they change sizes, but not necessarily by size, but that percentage in screen resolution can stay 1-to-1 at 100%. If I go and keep this locked and make this resolution 200, I'm gonna go okay. And you see it appears larger on the screen, but the ratio to screen resolution is still 100. So this is now 200. And if I go, let me go, I made that larger, 200, just for fun. Let's see if I'm gonna go, this is 4 by 4 at 200, and this is 8 by 8 at 200. So it should just fill, let's see what it does. Perfect. It just fills that 1 quadrant up because the resolution here is the same resolution here, but this image is twice as big. This is 4 by 4. So, but that 1 is now a 2 because I went image size, 4 by 4. I doubled it from its original. Cancel. If I go over here to window histories, just to reinstate this, and I go and pull this out. This is our histories. That's the image size where I double it. I go back to where I open it from 1 there. It's back to 4 by 4 by 100. If I pull it back in here, it's going to fall into that quadrant right there. So that should make sense to everybody, right? Yes. All right. Let's do one other thing here. Let's go image size 8 by 8 by 200. If I 8 by 8 by 400, it's going to be twice as big. And this takes a while to do. So there I'm at 100%. And look, let me see, 100% space bar. You can see that it is really big to screen size in ratio to screen size at 100%. So I gotta go to make that fit. I gotta command minus to make that fit into the screen, because now that is 8 by 8, but I gotta reduce the relationship to the screen resolution by to 1/3, 33%, to make so I can see it, right? So if I go what command Z there, it's still 33%, and it went a third smaller. I think it was a third. If I go back to 100%, I want to show you one more other thing, then I'll get off of this. Fits in the screen, 100%, 8 by 8. All right, I want to say one other thing about this. Image size, 8 by 8 by 200. That's what it is now. I can resample this by clicking this button. This is new now. I'm off to something else. Linking these, the size and the resolution, and I can make this 100, and that is going to be, because I'm having it, it's going to double the size of it. So it'll be 16 by 16. If I go 200, it's 8 by 8. By making it 100, I'm doubling the size, 16 by 16. Of course, I can, I don't have to say okay, because it's showing us what's going on right here. If I make it 50%, the 32 by 32, that's double again. So 100 was, I'm gonna go, I forgot, reset. 200 was the where I started from. So I can resample it here, and these will be linked, so the size and resolution will change no matter if I go up here and do that, it's going to change the resolution. If I do it down here and say 4, it's going to change the size. So they're all linked together with that anchor point right there. If I delink it, I can change the resolution here, 200, and it doesn't change the size, just so you know how these relate together. There, it's going to link everything together. There, it's going to only change the resolution or the size separate from each other. And I have one other thing I want to show you with this image, canvas size. So this is the canvas size, 8 by 8. If I want to do 10 by 10, that's going to make the canvas size larger. And that is the size of the, I'm gonna cancel this so you can see this. I'm gonna reverse the foreground background color, because that is now red, and I'll go up to show you how to this canvas size. It works differently than image size. It just enlarges the canvas bigger or smaller. 8 by 8, if I go 10 by 10, and I can move that image so it's up to the top or down at the bottom. That's the center point of the image, or leave it at the center. So the image size, the canvas size doesn't get bigger on all sides, and I go okay. And that's what that command 0 fits in the window. That's what everybody expected to happen, right? Right. You get that? Yeah. All right. So that said, I wanted to do a few things here just to remind everybody. So I want to do something very simple. This is just an auto review. There is, and I'm going to go command delete. So I got red, but or maybe I'll go option delete so it's white. And I'm going to make a new layer and make that command delete. That's edit, fill. I'm now just doing a review, background color. And I did it by a keystroke, which is command or control delete. I got my keystroke equivalency. So I'm going to try to say both command or control because some people have PCs. So I've got some guides going on here. If I go control colon or command colon, that hides the guides. View, show guides, show guides, view, just so we see this. Show guides, click that off, they'll go away. I use a keystroke. Anyway, that's that. Command control R is the rulers. Slider bars, we know this. Grab the palette, move it out, move the palette around. We have a very important flyout right here on all of these palettes where I can click on it and it opens up everything that has to do with the palette you're in, layers. So it's very important to know where that is. This is everything to do with layers. And of course I have the same thing going on here, layers. And I have some buttons down here that will make a new layer or duplicate a layer. I would have to go, I can right click and do the layers here, or I can go to this flyout, or I can go to some of these buttons, that makes a new layer. I can duplicate a layer. And now I'm gonna go and come up here to the color picker, and we all know the color picker: hue, saturation, brightness, ramps, and if I go with my cursor, I can pick any of the colors in the brightest on the hue slider, or the darkest, the whitest, the blackest. Everything corresponds to numbers. Go OK, edit, fill. Oh, that was supposed to be green. Edit, fill, foreground color. OK, green. Now I was thinking, you know, we did this project with all these selections, saved selections, and made a painting. And now we're working on a poem. And some people have actually did it, and I want to review it. But I want to do this really simple first as a review. Here is the rectangular or elliptical selection by area. This is the same freehand selection by area. We've done this because everybody has done the vegetable head. Now there's a selection. When I'm in the selection tool, I know that I can move the selection around, and it doesn't move anything. And that icon with the arrow and the little dotted rectangle underneath that means that is the selection. If I move it out of that selection, it changes to a crosshair. That is not the selection. So I can move that selection around. And oh, by the way, I can deselect the selection by getting outside of it and just going click. I prefer going Command D, but you can do either. There's the selection. Again, I can move it around. And if I go to my move tool, that's going to pick it up. And it's showing red because that is the layer below it. I'm going to go Command Z. I'm going to go Command D and do this again. If I happen to be engaged, this dark here is means I'm engaged in this layer. Now I know most of you have you can in preferences you can choose your color. I think most of you have this going on. Is that right? That color, dark color in the application.
Yeah, but I changed mine recently to the lightest one.
Does everybody tell me, everybody, with light, are you in the light one or are you in the dark one? Light, dark, light.
I'm in the light one.
All right, most people are in a light one. I'm going to go back to the light one then. I just wanted to be coordinated so we all look the same. All right, so if I was down here on this layer number 1, engaged in that, and I made this selection, and I hit, okay, I think I'm going to hit delete, and nothing happened. Obviously, I didn't see what happened because I was looking at the wrong layer. I was engaged in the one below, and what happened was on the one below. So that can be an occurrence that's problematic. We have more than one undo. I want Command Z, Control Z is undo. So you got to make sure you're on the right layer. And so I can go and I can move this with the move tool, it'll cut it. I can edit. Let me pick another color. I can edit, fill, foreground color, blue, okay, and it fills it. So that's what you can do with a selection. You can Command D, select 3 things. Move, shown in red. Select, delete. Oh, I should have did this a little easier. I'm going to go back and do this again. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. Go back to the history, and I can go back into time. All right, I'm on a top copy. I can take this selection, and I can go to and move it, and it picks it up and is moving it over. And when I paste it down, it's going to look like it's doesn't exist anymore. There, I picked that up, I moved it, and I filled it with blue. It's floating in my move tool. Command D. So I can pick it up and move it. I can make a selection. I'm on the green layer, delete it, or I can make a selection, edit, fill it, fill, foreground color. Okay, this is really basic stuff, but I just wanted to go over this to make sure everybody knew what was going on. Now, of course, I can then, in addition to all that, I can save the selections for use. This is Shift. Further use in the future. So I'm going to select, save selection, and there it shows up into the channels box as a mask. Command D, I go home, I come back, I save that mask, there it is, and I can load that up. I don't have to see it's there to load that up. Select, load selection, okay, and then I can do something with it. Delete, fill, or move. That's all selections happen to selections. So we all understand this now, right? Yes. Okay, good. I got a thumbs up. I wanted to go through that because I had some hesitation that we were getting that the basic things to do with selections are exist, fill, move, delete, and in addition, you can save those selections as masks to be used in the future. We got all out. What else was I thinking to do? We talked about the color. We got all of this. Well, I'll ask right now, according to how far we've gotten, does anybody have any questions they want to throw at us now? So see if we can got any problems to address. No questions? Princess, you must have a question.
No, I don't have one right now.
All right, so everybody's all right. So then I'll go forward. Okay. Somebody say okay.
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 Thank you for speaking up. Everybody got an introduction to this image resolution issues? Yes. So now you know when you go to open up an image, open with Photoshop. This is my I had to go over there and make sure I knew my PC, Windows, Mac shortcut. So this is just an image. So if I go over here, image size, 15 and change by 9 and change by 144. Well, that is completely different than this, which is 4 by 4 by 200. This is image size 144, but it's much bigger. So you know that that's going to fit into this image in a strange way. That's the point of knowing why when you move something over, it is, wow, that's big. Why is that big? Well, it's big because it was the resolution was small, but the size was so much bigger, image size. So when you go to 15 wide, this down here is 8. So it's almost twice as big with 1/3 the resolution. At any rate, you get the idea that when you open up images off of, when you download them or your own photographs, if you open it up and check the image size of what you've downloaded, you will, and then know the target, you're going to know why something gets really small or why something goes really big. That's the point of what we just did. All right, now I want to go and go back to I want to introduce a couple things. And then we're going to go look at the projects that have been submitted a week early, by the way, a week early. But I want to go back here and I want to add, what is this? I wanted to talk about, all of these are developed. I gotta go back to one of these that I haven't flattened, like that one, I guess. I wanted to introduce, here we are. Oh, I don't have the grid on this. Oh, I'm not ready, everybody. I'm not ready. I should have been ready. I don't have a mask. I don't have a mask on that. What happened to that? So why don't we use somebody's submission? Because mine went, and these here are, oh, so let's throw to the talent out there who wants to present their already presented poem, grid, mask project. Who submitted it out there? Lily, can I ask you to open it up?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, great. This is what we're going to do is I was going to walk through layer some new techniques that I want to see in this in this project, and I didn't have my file ready. I would have to remake it, but instead of remaking it, why don't we just let Lily show what she's got and we'll talk it through. Now, this is not due until next week, and then everybody's going to make their presentation next week. So you ready, Lily?
Yeah, here, let me just open it up first and then I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Um, It's saying I can't share Photoshop.
All right. What did I do? Oh, you can't open Photoshop or?
Like the screen that has Photoshop on it says it isn't allowed to share that screen. I don't screen. Let me try to close some of the stuff I have. If I share it, okay. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, well, I can see your desktop.
Okay, so that's not good.
I can see the icon.
Yeah, I had it opened, but it doesn't. Okay, let me try one more time. Oh, there we go. Now can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So that's it. These are my layers.
All right, let's look at the layers and the channels at the same time.
Okay. Layers and the channel.
Okay, so you're introducing something new here. Do you want to deconstruct all of that? You can move that a little further off so we can see the images.
Yeah, oh yeah, I have this. Hold on, let me. Okay, there you go. I'll do one in and one there. Okay. Yeah, I just did the poem is about the sun and the moon. So I did a picture of the sun and then a picture of the moon with the mask over it. And then let me just put that all. And then I just I added a new document and I just put the poem in it and I just copied and pasted it into it. And that kind of glitched a little. So I just took the poem from my desktop and dragged it on and it just pasted on like that. Yeah, and that's really it.
Okay, so you got a couple things going on that I'd like to dive into. One is, well, I'll start with the little icon underneath in the poem, in the window of the poem, in the layers. See that little icon?
This one?
Yeah, do you know what that is?
No, I do not.
That is a smart object, which is, oops. Oh, now see, you've just accessed the smart object.
Oh, I see. Okay, this is the
That smart object means that it go back to the poem. That icon means that you have an alias, which is the smart object that is linked to the file but is not in the file. And that what that means is that smart object has a number of things you can do with it. What that means is that you can work on the poem and it'll update to the file. It should work. That's for like mass production, giant ad agency, things like that. Let's say you had a orange and it had an original orange on the master file somewhere in New York and you wanted to update the orange with a straw in it in England, but without sending them the file. It's a smart object. You just put the straw in the original master orange image and it'll update it everywhere. That's the concept. We don't need to deal with that. There's other things that smart objects do that we need to have in video. We got to have that. Here we don't, and you're getting that smart object icon because you're dragging it from the desktop and just dropping it on the screen, and it inhibits things to do in other parts of Photoshop when that smart object is engaged. So at this point, we really don't want the smart object because it'll stop our progress elsewhere. And you'll see it when you try to do something. I'm not going to try to do anything, but I want to do is get rid of the smart object icon So go to layer, engage in that top layer, go up to layer,
Like, oh, here.
up here, yeah, layer, rasterize down right in the middle,
Rasterize.
smart object. See that icon went away?
Yeah, I have it on the sun picture too.
Yeah, so you don't want to have that there now. Later on, we will use those smart objects, but right now we're trying to keep things simple. So that's how that should look. Now, go up and you see you don't have anything in your channels, no mask in your channels, right?
Mhm.
Now go click on the moon. See what happens.
Oh.
Well, you're linking the mask to the image with that. Look, that mask showed up, right? So what you're demonstrating is something we haven't learned, which is a layer mask. Now that's the next step because it gets more complicated, but I wanted to make sure, that's why I went through these selection things a minute ago. I wanted to make sure that you understood that you can make a selection and save it in the channels like we did with the painting project, right? The painting grid, and you can use that mask on any layer. Right now, you can only use that mask on the moon layer, because if I go click on the sun, it goes away, right?
Mhm.
So you to use that mask, you'd have to load it up and then go to the layer that you wanted to use it on, and then you could use it. But it's really linked now to the moon layer. Now go over that, go click on that mask, go right click on the right click, disable layer mask. This is very nice because you still have the moon, but it's the mask is still there. You can see that you're engaged in it in the channels palette, but it is disabled. So click on that again. Now enable. There, you're enabling it. So what's neat about this is you can move it, change it, do whatever you want to that mask, and it will not be applied to the layer until you flatten it. So it's fluid. So pretty neat. Before, the last time we looked at this, and I'm going to go over it, I got a tutorial where we present this layer masks again, but immediately before this, if we had a mask and we applied the mask, it was applied. You couldn't do it, and you saved your image, you always had a hole in it. But now we don't, because Lily showed us how to do that, right? So now we need to do some other things for this. I'm gonna write this down and send it to you so everybody will have this. Not layer mask is not what I want to make everybody do or require, but I would like to see you do a layer style. So let's do a layer style. Let's do a layer style on what layer? On the moon. Layer style. You can't do a layer style on a full image. It has to have open areas in it. So it's got to float. So we go up to layer style. Layer style. Introduce ourselves to layer styles. Up a little bit more. Up there. What is that? You have bevel, emboss, stroke, inner shadow, all of this stuff that you can do layer styles with. And I'm not going to go through every one of them and explain them, other than to point to you that here they are. So let's do one, like which one you want to do.
I can't even begin to know what bevel and emboss.
Well, let's do it then. Bevel and emboss. Each of them come up with a opportunity to, there's all your layer styles, so you can see you can do more than one, but you have all these controls going on, structure. So let's do outer bevel instead of inner. Outer. Let's do chisel instead of smooth. Chisel. And there you got up, down, size, soften, angle, and you can do your contours. You see it happening on the screen? The goal here in this class is to do more than less. In other classes, or as you get more advanced in image making, you'll probably be a little less inclined to do these special effects, but I want you to explore these special effects in this class so you know where they're all at. So I'm not looking necessarily for elegance, but more for experimentation is what I'm looking for you guys to do. So you can see, and you can come up and make there's modes there. We haven't got to modes, but there's the size will affect that. Your size is really big, but if you like it, that's fine. It's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah. So I like everybody to try, and there's some sub contour texture, and then you go over to the left, stroke, inner shadow, inner glow, a whole bunch of stuff. So have some fun and try them out and come up with some weird things going on. So you can go click on inner glow. There, now you got two things. You gotta go engage it by clicking on it. And now see that white square? That's a color, it's white. So make that something else. Do we see it on the screen doing anything?
I don't see it anywhere. Overlay. I don't see it. Oh, I guess around the top part, around each square. I think it's just such a dark picture, you can't really tell.
All right, if you can see it, that's all that counts. It might be that other one is dominant. The other one is dominating it. But try them out, combine them. Try them out.
Oh, there's some purple.
There you can see some of it. Now maybe the choke and size is what's going on there.
Yeah. Let's see. A little bit more. There we go.
Okay, so now let's just okay that. And there you see under the layer effects, you see effects. Click that top eyeball off.
Oh,
You
okay.
haven't applied it. You just have it tentatively ready. When you flatten it, you can. So if you don't like any of those things, go click on not the eyeball, but the word bevel. And then go select, double click on it, it'll come up.
Come on, there you go.
There we go. So there you can go back and redo it if you don't like exactly what it looks like. So this stuff is fluid until you flatten it. So here is another technique that I like to see you do in addition to the layer mask with the holes cut through it. So it's a layer style. Now, I want to see one other thing, everybody engage in here, which is filters. So let's go up to the poem and go filter. There's all kinds of filters. See that filter? There's these presets that are down below. 3D, blur, stylize, sharpen. And then there's a filter gallery. Click on that. And there you have all kinds of stuff that's going on. Now that checkerboard means that it is, that's transparency. So you're only working on that. Now that's interesting. That's just one thing, film grain. That doesn't work. So go around and experiment. Go see what all those, and every one of those folders has different stuff going on. Now, just select one.
Oh. That one you can't even read what it says. Let me do one that you can read. Oh. There we go.
Go select that, okay, but go and explore this. Spend some time exploring it so you get the idea. That's interesting. This looks great. Now, I would recommend, do you like it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All right, it was just kind of shooting in the dark here, but it came out really neat looking, right?
Yeah.
So I would recommend everybody that the text be on its own layer. Do you know how to do a text layer? So
No.
go to your type tool
Where?
in the
Oh.
toolbox down and click on where U is.
Oh.
All right, so now you have up on the top, it's telling you what you have is Myriad Pro regular at 12 point. Now, what you did there is something that I'm going to show you later on. This is a mask now, but it will be a selection when you click back on it, and it's really not what we want to get into right now. So let's just, and this is a pop-up window that I don't like. So let's go back to the text tool and click on it and go to horizontal type tool. Now what you can go Command D. I'm going to show you what you did because you really used it, the text tool as a mask, but now we're just going to use it as text because we're in the right black tool. Now, there we go. Now you can type U. That little pop-up window gets in the way. So you got to go above, move your cursor above it and you can type.
Okay.
You're all right. You just got to start to type. Is it working?
Yeah, you can just barely see it. You.
Well, go scroll up. Scroll bar, scroll up. You got a roller bar on your mouse?
Yeah, I'm using that, but I noticed that doesn't work.
Well, go Command plus or
Okay.
Control plus, whatever you got. There we go. Now space bar.
Let me just move it.
Or you can do it that way too.
There we go.
All right, so there we have U. We can make that so everybody can see it. Highlight it, make it bold, and go up to the top. Regular, bold. There's U 12 point. You can make it bigger.
Let's make that.
Just highlight it. You can go Command A and then make that. All right, there's U. Now the black rectangle on the top of the attributes bar is the color. So you can make that a different color. I'm just going to step you through this. Click. You can make that different. There's U. Now this also, by the way, can have a layer style on it. You can have it a drop shadow. You can have a bevel emboss. You can do all of that with layer styles on your text. But this organization of the background has a filter on it of some sort, and your type floats above it on its own layer, right? And let's go to window so we can see the entire, and go to character down. There's everything. It's floating over there. It says your font you're using is Myriad Pro Bold, and you got all kinds of fonts. The point size is 24 point, and where it says auto is the space between the lines. That's called leading. And then you have a what is called kerning and tracking. That will put space between the letters, 2 letters on the left, or the entire word or paragraph on the right. There, where the color red, that's your color, the same as on the top. And the rest of that stuff is, we don't need to really deal with that right now. There's a bunch of other lesser important attributes that are in this character palette or window. That's the text tool. So and if you were to go and get a poem online and you just go and copy that poem and paste it, it'll come in just like this, and engage in your text tool. You can be in your text tool and have the cursor go and go Command V, and then the poem will roll out. Now your poem was actually part of an image, right, Lily?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the future, you don't need to do that. And maybe this image would be better if you got this poem and then stylize the type as well, instead of just bringing in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, good job. Yay, we did it. So that is the goal of this project, which is due next week. So you have any questions? Lily?
Yeah, I just it cut out for a second. I think my computer just glitched.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, good. Who else wants to show their work? Anybody else out there? Are we bashful today, everybody? Bashful?
I can show mine.
Thank you, Francesca. Oh, you can show it, right?
Yes. Mhm. Okay, can you guys see it? Yes, can you see it?
Yes, yes, yes. I had it on the wrong screen. Now I can see it.
Okay, I'm not done, but this is mine. And then
Okay, so let's pull out the layers and the channels.
okay. Here's the layers and here's the channels.
Okay, so, oh, by the way, everybody and Lily, you need to have a credit on the poem. Oh, you have a credit by Christy and somebody, Martine. So give her the credit, whoever did the poem credit. All right, you want to deconstruct it?
Sure, okay.
Take the
so-
eyeballs off.
So I have this image of the forest and then this layer with the selection of the sky and then
No, wait a minute, back up. You got a layer style, what is it?
I put like an inner shadow into
Do you
it.
see it? It's very just, it's
Very subtle.
it's very subtle, but
Yeah.
there is a layer style. So I'm gonna say, when I assess these, I'll say evidence of a layer style, because I can see it on the layers, because you're gonna drop this into the drop box, right?
Mhm.
With the layers. So I'll say, yeah, layer styles, I can see it. And then what is this rectangle?
For the text, I put like a box and then the text.
So show us where you got that.
I went right here to the shapes.
All right, now those shapes are what they call vector shapes, and you can use them.
Mhm.
But they're, you see the pen tool that's in the toolbox, you know where the pen tool is? It's up 4 tools from what you're engaged in. There. Well, I don't know, I can't see your cursor. You see the tool you're engaged in, an arrow, a T, and it looks like the point of a pin. Toolbox. I can't see your cursor.
I don't see it. Maybe I'm just
Where's your cursor? Move your cursor around.
right here.
All right, so go over to the toolbox.
The
Go down. Go to number 4 on a ruler. There. It's I don't know where your cursor is, but right at 4 is the pen tool. Do you see it now?
yeah. Up here.
No, the toolbox. The tool it's on the left. Go to number 4. That right one above it. Does that look like a pin to
Okay,
you?
sorry.
You see what it's doing on that? You see what it's doing in that little hint?
Yeah, I see it now. Sorry.
That's what it does.
Mhm.
Right now, go to that box you're in, the tool you're engaged in, which is that rectangle box. That's the same thing.
Okay.
Now watch that. See that? It's
Mhm.
pulling those paths out, so it's a vector. I'm just explaining to you what it is, so you know what it is. This is a vector attribute that's in Photoshop, but Photoshop is really bitmapped. So I don't use that. I use those tools in Illustrator, another software, exclusively. In Photoshop, I would have made, what you did is not, that's a double not wrong. It's okay, it's fine. But
Okay.
you could have done that just as easily in terms of bitmap by making a selection of the size of that black square and just filling it with black, right?
Mhm.
I'm just explaining the difference. That doesn't
Right.
mean everybody don't, another double negative. You can use that shape tool if you so choose, but it's vector. It's not part of Photoshop. It is embedded in Photoshop, just as a text tool is, but it's not what drives Photoshop. And what drives Photoshop is bitmap technology, just so you know. So there, you fill that with black. It could be filled with any color. Then on the what is on the, below it is the text tool running this through the.
Yeah, that's just the text. I typed out the poem.
But that, click on that eyeball rectangle, the eyeball above it. Oh, there's nothing there.
I don't know.
That's nothing there. The black is on the eyeball below it.
Yeah.
There, that's okay. That's nothing.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So all you're missing is filters, right?
Mhm.
So you got to go and experiment with the filters and see if you can do something with the filters.
Okay.
You don't need to do that now because you got a whole week to do that one thing. All right.
Right.
Looking good. Yay. So who else wants to show?
I can go.
Savannah. Okay. Yay.
All right, let me share screen. I've never shared screen before, so hopefully this works.
Well, welcome to share screen. It's about time.
It's making me open my system preferences real quick to
Oh,
grant
no.
permission for Zoom to share screen. Here we go.
Working? Yay.
It's working?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yay.
So let's see, let me close out this side thumbnail.
We want to see.
So I didn't really have like a method to this. I just like found the poem and then I went from there as far as finding the background images, and then I just kind of like messed around with the layers and the effects and stuff.
Okay. The first thing would like you to do is get out of the crop tool.
Oh, okay.
Go to the move tool. Click on the move tool. All right. There we go. That works as well. All right. So let's go to layers and let's look at the channels at the same time as the layers.
Okay.
All right, so there's your mask, and you use that mask to cut a hole and pull your layers palette open.
How's that?
Well, go scroll down so I can see I can't see the bottom, all the layers.
Can you see it now?
You got to open the bottom of the layers. Is that the background layer? The layer I'm missing is the background.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
that's the background. Yeah, okay. That's the background layer, which is just an image of what? Sky?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then click the layer above it off, see what that does. All right, so that is where you applied your mask, right?
Yes.
And then you got some effects on it. So click it back on. Let's see what those effects are. Bevel and emboss and outer glow. So click those eyeballs off, so we can see it happen.
So I wanted to do outer glow because I wanted it to look like the light from the sky was like coming through into
Okay,
the
great.
foreground.
Yeah.
And then the bevel and emboss just made it 3-dimensional.
Oh boy, looks good. Very good. And then you got the rectangle and you got to click those on and off.
So I did the same thing as Francesca, where you like draw one of the vectors and then put text over it.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the fact that you could just fill the text box, but
Well,
that's what I did. And then I added effects to make it kind of pop out a little more.
okay. Well, you actually, the vector tool was useful because it had those round corners. And one could make those round corners by hand, but go over there and let's open up that box tool and see what there's a round corner one. See, because I never use that tool. Go up and click and hold. Oh, there's more there's that round one. Now that is a default, and that's makes it really easy to use that. So you had a more of a reason than just making a
Yeah,
rectangle and
and
filling
then
it.
I realized like originally I just selected this plain rectangle. It gives you the option when you're like drawing it out.
Oh.
Oh, I have to be on that layer. You can like adjust how rounded the corners are.
See those little dots that are go right inside the corner? That makes it bigger, the corner, adjust the corner, right?
Yes.
This is the same thing in Illustrator. That's interesting. So that's kind of cute. Round
Yeah.
corners. Okay, good. So scrolling up, and then there's the type.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So and why is that got a round corner in it? Why is that round?
Honestly, I have no idea. That's just kind of like how it turned out. I just ended up, I copied and pasted the text into it and then just changed the font onto it. I didn't
Oh,
really
you copy and pasted the text into the vector rounded rectangle.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay.
So let's demonstrate this. Go to your text tool and highlight the text and copy it, Command C. You're demonstrating something now. So take all your eyeballs off so we're back down to the background layer so it's easy for everybody to see.
So take the text
Yeah,
layer off.
take all the eyeballs all the way down. And engage in the background layer. No, put that on and just click on it. See that? Now it's highlighted. That means what I mean when I say engage in it.
I
Now
gotcha.
go and just click once on the screen and go Control or Command V.
Oh, cool.
Okay, now all of those that fill it out, and there was line breaks in that text that made those lines break. Now, if you go up to if you highlight that text, just because you got it centered, I just want to point out, go up to the options and go to the left one, which is right. So there you change the orientation. That's flush left, flush right, rag left, centered. That's where that's at. It's also, that stuff is also in your paragraph, window paragraph, floating window. So it's in two places. I think everybody knows, you go to window, you can go to character or go to paragraph. Now do this again, click on your move tool, toolbox, move tool, up to the top.
Oh,
Now go back to the text tool and make it and click and make a little small square or small up above there. Yeah, no, I didn't want you to do that. I wanted you to click and drag. So
oh, gotcha.
Command Z. I'm just demonstrating two different ways to do that. You got to get rid of that. Now
It won't let me.
go
click.
to the move tool. No. Now go back and click it again. I had to get out of it. Go back to the type tool.
Okay.
Click, and now go to your screen and draw out a rectangle. Let go. There.
Cool.
So see that there's two different ways to do your text. One, just click and paste. Two, you draw a rectangle and it's going to fit it into that rectangle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So go to your move tool. Now click on it. All that text isn't there, is it? Oh, no, wait a minute. That is Lauren Epson.
Yeah, that's just like the default until you like paste or type something.
All
in
right,
there.
so highlight and paste the text. You're now go Command or Control V. There. Now you can see you got handles there, and there is on the bottom left, you see that anchor point. Oh, bottom right. Is there a little plus in that anchor point?
Yes.
That means you have more text inside that box. There we go. Now there's no plus bottom right. So we've just explained how to handle the text boxes.
Okay.
Okay, good job. The only thing you're missing in your masterpiece here is filters.
Oh yeah, I can add some filters.
All right, that's your charge for next week is to add filters.
Like when you say filters, you mean like mess around with these?
Yeah, mess around with those, come up with something.
Okay.
Check out the filter gallery, mess around with them, and so you get introduced to them, so where they're at. But it'd take weeks to figure out, to explore every filter. I'm not asking that. I'm just asking you that you know where they're at and experiment with a few, so you know in the future. Oh, I'm gonna try a filter. I'll go look at it. Okay. All right. Good job. Yay. Okay, we got somebody else? Savannah, are you there?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to figure out how to like open Zoom back up. My computer is being weird. Do you have to like remove me as the co-host?
You have to.
Oh.
Maybe I can do it. There, I got it back, right?
Yay.
Does everybody see?
Yeah, I think it's because I don't have my permissions on to like record, and so it was
Oh,
like.
all right. Well, we can work around that so we figure that out. So everybody can see can everybody see my shaking window here? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kyra. Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Do you want to talk about this?
Sure.
All right. How come you're so bashful?
I don't know.
Oh, you help me when you're not so bashful.
Okay, I'll share it.
All right. You're the co-host.
Okay. Share screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the poem I did, and then I just used these two images. They're both of stars, but one has like the Milky Way and trees, and the other one is just oh, why isn't it coming up? It's just like that, and then I put the mask on.
Okay, so there's your mask. I got a craftsmanship question. Go to your mask.
What?
Eyeball on the mask. Eyeball on the mask. Channels. See, those are images. That's the mask. The images are in the layers. Click the eyeball off the RGB. Why is your mask not? Why do those corners touch? Some of them touch and some of them don't. Craftsmanship question. Are you on a Mac? Control colon or Command colon. You see those black squares are not lining up?
Yeah.
And I'm ringing the craftsmanship bell. Do you hear it? Ding, ding, ding.
I think it was just when I was like copying the mask and like expanding it, it didn't line up perfectly.
Well, can you make it perfect?
How should I do that?
Well, you got to do it over,
Oh,
following your grid.
gotcha.
You know how to do that, right?
Yeah, just like start over.
Well, yeah, because they're all misaligned. I'll give you a better grade. I'm giving you the carrot now. Give you a better grade.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're not lined up. I think when I was just
It's
making
just
it.
it's simply craftsmanship. It's just simply how you're making that, drawing out your selections out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being a little more careful. And
Okay.
our goal here as we progress is to be more craftsmanship, careful, so we try to make perfect type pictures as far as we can figure that out. So let's go back to RGB
Okay.
and take the eyeball off the mask. And do you see image 7318?
Uh-huh.
You
This
know
one?
what that icon is?
Yeah, it's the poem.
What is the icon on that layer right next to IMG? What is that?
That means it's the smart image, right?
Smart object?
Yeah.
Yes. Can we get rid of that?
Sure.
Can't do
I
it
don't
there.
quite remember.
All right, layer
Um,
from the top. Layer, rasterize,
um,
up, smart object. Now you have the full capabilities of what Photoshop can do. So
Okay.
you got that smart object again there because you drug it from the desktop and dropped it into the window. If you would have
Mhm.
opened it up and then drug it over like I did the bananas, it wouldn't have been a smart object, just so you know. We're going to
Okay.
get to what smart object does later on, but we want to take one thing at a time. So you're missing a credit on your poem. You'll get that, right?
Yeah, it's just because it was an image and it didn't have that.
Well, you can take your type tool and type a credit on it on top of it,
Okay.
and I bet you I can almost find a scripty font that'll look like it or be close anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Go Command colon. There we go. Okay, looking nice. You're missing, which is to be expected. You're missing filters and layer styles. You know what we mean by that now?
Yeah.
All right. And the size of it, go to image size. Nine 0.7 by 5.4 resolution 72. That's not right. What's the image size supposed to be? Anybody, tell me what the image size is. Nobody knows.
Isn't it?
By
It-
11.
5 by 11.
Yeah, it's 8.5, no, 11 wide by 8.5. Now watch, you see you got that length, you can't get it, so you got to resample it. Button down below. This is a good little lesson here. No, just click that check mark. Click it again. Oh, I want to get rid of that link. Click it again. Click it again. Oh, that link, I want to try to get rid of that and go click the link itself. There. Now go 11 by 8.5. I didn't show this. I'm glad that you had this problem. Now go by 150. Now that's the target. Now watch what happens. Go Command 0.
Okay.
Weird, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So the proportion is wrong. right?
Yeah.
So click the eyeball on the mask. See what happens with that mask. Oh, it stretched the mask as well. Well, that makes sense. Click the eyeball off. So, and if you also look at it, if you get close to the words, Command plus, you see that ghost around it, white.
Yeah.
That is what is called JPEG chunks, and you can also see that in the image. It says that it's telling you this image is not, the resolution isn't good enough to save. It's degraded.
Okay.
That first, wherever we got that image, it didn't have that she was that wild thing. I'll bet you a nickel that it didn't have that ghosty thing around it, because that only happens when you distort the resolution, and you made it from smaller to bigger, which is a rule of thumb is you always make high resolution smaller, never a small resolution, low resolution larger.
Mhm.
So you got those issues to work on. Is that all right?
Yeah. So I just should find a different image.
Well, you got to kind of start over again because the resolution isn't any good because you started with 72, which you'd want a bigger resolution, higher resolution from your source images. I went over that in earlier lesson.
Yeah. I think when I set it up, I put in the image size, so I'm not sure why it changed, but
Well, it is what it is now, and the resolution isn't quite good enough. So I would start on a new. Well, now your size and resolution is right, but you got to pull in some new images that are where it's more higher resolution, sky and trees, etc.
okay.
Okay, and then you're going to do some filters and layer styles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good job.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so that's helping everybody. It's helping everybody learn how to do this and get a better grade. So who else wants to show what they've done? I got to pick people out. Oh.
I'll
No.
go.
Maya?
Yeah, it's Maya.
Maya. Oh, beautiful.
So the poem was about three birds watching a man. So I have like one of the layers is feathers and then the other one is hands.
Wow. Can we look at the layers and the channels at the same time?
Yep, they're both there, right?
Yeah, but you got to pull them open so we can see them
Oh, like this way?
like that. Yeah. All right. So you're working in cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Did you know that?
No.
Well, RGB is native to computers. CMYK is for print, and the color space is smaller.
Okay.
Do
Do
you
I need to start over then?
No. I just want to
Okay.
understand it. Do you understand what I say when I say color space?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody understand that? I explained that earlier on. So the RGB's got more millions of colors than the CMYK got like thousands. So let's go over to the flyout on the channels.
The what?
That flyout, that 4 lines. New channel, oops, it's not there. So we got to go, what are we going to go? We got to go to image mode, RGB.
Oh, just click.
Yep, that changes the color display. Don't flatten. There. Now the color space is RGB. You can see in your channels, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got to know You only need to use CMYK if you have to use it for print. And
Okay.
and they the technology has changed in the last 10 years, so that now lots of printers, at least the one I use, automatically changes the RGB to CMYK. You don't even have to change it, but you still need to know about it. All right, so let's deconstruct it and look at what you got.
Okay, I have the rectangle behind the words as well. And then I typed in the text. And then the first layer is the feathers. And then this was a photo I had taken
Okay, great.
of hands.
Now, those note, go to no, go back. You see that effects button? Click that off. Oh, what is it doing? Gradient overlay. It's gradient overlay. Yeah, the bevel and emboss is not working on it.
No, I didn't want it. I clicked on it.
Yeah, can you click on it just to
and
see
then-
what? I'm sorry.
That's okay. It just didn't do anything. So
No,
I mean,
and I
it did
want-
something, but
Yeah, but I wanted you to click on it just so you could see it didn't do anything. And the reason why it didn't do anything is that image is covering the entire screen. So you
yeah.
only see that bevel and emboss right at the bottom of the screen. Look at it. See, the little thing comes up. For most of these layer styles, you have to have a floating object or image in, and it floats with space around it, except for some of them like gradient overlay, which works here, right?
Hmm.
Click it on and off, gradient overlay. Nice, I like it. Let's go to the next one. And you have a drop shadow and a satin thing going on. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Very subtle. Beautiful. And then you use the shape tool or shape button to make that. And wait a minute, that's you can see through it. How did you do that? Rectangle 1.
When I
Click on rectangle 1. What is it? The 75% fill? Is it?
Yeah, I did the opacity here.
Well, opacity is at 100%.
Well, the
That's-
advanced blending one.
All right, so that's that fill opacity. Okay,
Yeah.
good enough. Good job. 74, something like that. So we could see that very nice and subtle. And then we got and you
It's
have.
too hard to read.
I can't read it from here, but it's really small. If I got closer to it, maybe we could read it. It's it's not easy, but you can read it. If you wanted to keep all those effects on it, and make it easier to read, I'd recommend a sans serif, which is a serif has these little wings and things on the type, that's what you have. A sans serif is without them.
Yep.
Which is, change your font, and then all that gradient, drop shadow, etc. You'll be able to read it easier, just so you know. So this looks really good. You're missing. Do you have a filter going on?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's all you need to go, and it looks lovely. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Do we have anybody else that has work here that hasn't shown? Anybody else? Going once, going twice, gone. Is that all right? We'll show you, everybody will show next week. Yes, because it's due next week. All right. Any other questions? No other questions? So let's do, I'll come up here and I'm going to close this and I'm going to go to student folder, and we're now going to do tutorial. Let me see, got my syllabus going on here. 4, and we're going to go do this tutorial. So I'm going to, and here is This is an old tutorial from way Photoshop 5, a long time ago, probably before anybody was walking the face of the earth here. But it's all in here, everything I'm going to explain, but I explain it in my own way. I'm going to go to start, number 3, open with fetching, open with Photoshop. And here we are, scroll bar. And I'm going to do this is crooked, of course, so I'm going to start out with talking about the crop tool. First of all, I'm going to go back to here.
I can't see anything if you
Thank you. I forgot to get the screen. I forgot to get the screen. I forgot to bring the screen back. See, you got to speak up, or else I'm here in my own world by myself. Unbelievable. Now everybody can see, right? I get a shake of a head. All right. So I went to tutorial 4 Venice, and I opened up start 3 right there. Everybody can see that. And that's start 3. And here's Venice. And this is crooked Venice. And I want to straighten it out. So I'm going to go to the crop tool. Here's a crop tool. In the toolbox, there's my toolbox, 5 down. And I want to make sure that when I get to crop tool, I get these handles so I can crop. But I want to make sure there's all these default resolutions or presets. And I want these to be empty, this to be empty. And 72, I know where I was. I was going to image size. We want to check 5 by 7 by 72. Okay, we know that, 5 by 7. All right, so we know what that image size is. And when I crop this, I'm going to go and pull it so that the black goes away. In the image size is going to stay 72, but it's going to get smaller because I'm cropping out the black, so it's going to be smaller than 5 by 7. And this has got to come up. And nothing happens until I hit a return. If I hit escape, it'll go back to its original. So I got to engage this tool. All the transformation tools I have to engage. And then I hit return. There I got Venice cropped out. And what I want to do here is go through some of these tools, like we'll go through these tools. Some of these. I'm just going to introduce some of these tools to you. Like this is if you're a photographer in the darkroom, you'd have a dodge tool, a burn tool, and a sponge tool. And what do they do? There's opportunity up top here to talk about the brush size, make brush size bigger or smaller, midtones, exposure. So there's opportunities here for making specific decisions with this tool, and this tool is making it darker. I clicked, I held, I pressed. Command Z undoes it. This is the burn tool. So if the burn tool makes it darker, the dodge tool here makes it, what does it do? So, my brush size is way too big, so I gotta bring it down so I can see it. And this lightens it up. And of course I got exposure 50% midtones. So that's what that does. Now all of these tools here, you can do it differently using different tools, but this is for the people that are photographers that did this by hand in the darkroom for so many years. I would not use these tools. Sometimes I do. That is making it desaturating it, but I can saturate this, desaturate, saturate. I can saturate that. So just so you know what those tools here do, dodge, burn, sponge, and you can try that yourself. That's what we're doing here. And then I got a set of other tools up here, which is the blur tool. And I'm gonna make my bracket keys, I'm making my brush bigger, or you can make it bigger up here. And I'm gonna blur, click, hold, blurry, 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 blurry. and I don't know, special effects or something. And it just blurs more and more and more as I drag around it. Command Z, or I can sharpen it, and this gets rid of edge pictures. I get making my cursor bigger again. Sharpen, sharpen, sharpen. You can see it's just getting rid of pixels and making it really sharp, and gets rid of everything. And you can do this very subtly as well. By hand, localize. But there is another way to sharpen. Select, well, filter, sharpen. Here's a bunch of other sharp tools. We'll introduce one or two of these, but there's a whole bunch of sharpen tools here that work. And this is by hand localized sharp tool. And this is a smudge tool. So you have a little cousin that's 2 or 3 years old and you want to destroy photographs. This is how you do it. I can't imagine you'd use this for anything other than fingerprinting. So there we go. Command Z. That's what that does, a smudge tool. And of course, there's a strength, etc. up here. All right, those are those tools here, and then that's a history brush tool. So that is, just so you know, that's local history in a localized spot. This is history in for entire image, and so I use this. I've only done one thing. I Command Z to everything else, which is open. So I could go, if I wanted to go and get that crop back so I could see the black background, I'd click up once. So that's the difference between this history, which is global, and this, which is local. And I never use this. But you can if you so choose. So now we're going to go down, and I kind of introduce those tools right there. And I'm going to introduce a new component, very important component to Photoshop, which is layer color adjustments. Here's where, remember the modes, the CMYK, RGB, that's the modes. There's a bunch of others, grayscale, I make it grayscale. I can make it other color modes here. I can have a channel, bit depth, and here, and I'm going to show you what that is right now. Here's the color adjustments, and these color adjustments are all high quality professional color adjustments to make pictures look better. The top, there's a bar right here, bar right here. The higher you go on this list, the more important, effective the adjustment is. The most important two are levels and curves. So if we master those, we'll have related knowledge on all the rest of this stuff. So we're going to do levels. This is bitmap. When I say bitmap versus vector, that rectangle is vector. This type tool is vector. That pin is vector. This image is bitmap, and that's what it means. That these are stacks of pixels, bits, and that is the histogram. Now, if I was to take a very high quality picture, I could go and bring that in. I could go image 16 bits or 32 bits. And that would be a very high quality photograph, but I couldn't do all of the adjustments. So I have to have, in Photoshop, you have to have that in 8-bit, which it is, 8-bit. And then I can go and do the levels. So that's a pile of pixels. This is the whitest white, which is the sky. This is the blackest black, which is somewhere down here. And you can see it's not quite white, but full spectrum of 255 to 0. That is the same thing is when I put a number in here, 255, 255. Look where the cursor's going. 255. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not in the right field here. 255. I gotta be in the RGB field. This is supposed to go quick. Look where the cursor is going. It's going perfectly to white. All right, so okay, I'm going to Control L, Command L is the keystroke for image adjustment levels. And there it is, 255. Well, there's 255. That's where the whitest white is. So I clip this at that number, and I clip this. So there I'm pulling the black, and if the black is not at 0, it's at 33. But if I pull those together, this is the mid-tone. which is somewhere in gray. So I can, lighten the mid-tone up or leave it in the middle, 1. And I go, okay, there I have, and I'm gonna go back to levels, image adjustment levels. And there you can see that I have pulled that histogram out. So it's at 255 and at 0. So that is the extent of the range of black to light and all the colors in between. And the white is valleys in the histogram. So it's splitting the histogram out. And so you may not notice that it's starting to get jagged, but the more you do this in terms of color adjustment, the bigger these gaps will be. Who's a photographer here in this class? Anybody raise their hand? Any photographers? I got photographers in my other class. Well, no photographers. All right. Well, if I was to go, professional photographers would do this in Lightroom, which is companion software, and it keeps this histogram filled in, but that's what it's doing here. I'm going to go Option, reset it. Oh, I already did that. I'm going to go OK, and I'm going to go to Window, History, and go back to the beginning. There's where I was without it being having the histogram or the levels applied. So image adjustment levels, and I did that because I'm going to show you the presets. These are presets that come with the program, and that's the blackest black. So I'm going to come down here and click that, and note, see that histogram start to break up. And here's the whitest white, but it put the black down to 0. The whitest white, I'll take that into the sky right there. There. It's a different histogram than I did manually. And the mid-tone is right here in the center somewhere. And there, that turned out pretty well right there. So this is presets. And of course, I can do this on the composite channel, or I can do color correction on any of these other channels. I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to keep it simple. I'm going to reset this. There's where I started out. So you can use these presets, they work, but that's an automatic, somebody's made those, set those up for you, or you can do it on your own. I prefer that you do it on your own so you understand it. So there we go, and I can go OK, and there I've established it. Now, there's another condition in the levels. There's my histogram, my new histogram, is the output levels. Input, output. I'm inputting this adjustment. This, I'm outputting this, cutting off the white and making everything desaturated, or cutting off the black, making everything lighter. And why would you use that? Well, sometimes, let's say, for example, I wanted to put text right there. I can make that selection, and I can do a color selection within the selection. It's not going to do it there, it's going to do it here. So we can do localized color selections, which is really good to know. Image adjustment levels. And so I'm going to do the output, and I'm going to make things light. Now that would allow me, I go OK, Command D, and then I could type on the top of this and be able to read that type really well. So that is left that at this right here is just this selection. And the rest of this is the last color correction I made. So I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to show it to you. So there, yay! We have covered levels, but we haven't covered curves. That's the next thing. So I'm going to go, this is very important stuff, by the way, because it's like one of the main things of Photoshop. I'm going to take all this levels off, go back to my beginning. Crop, there's the beginning. And I'm going to do the same thing in curves, and I'm going to explain the difference. Image, adjustment, curves, Command M, Control M, or Control L, curves, Command M. There's curves. Now you can see there's a histogram. We saw that in levels, and it's the same thing. And there is the clipping. You can see it there and see it here. So if I want to make this do the same thing as in levels, I go like that, and I go like that. There, I have clipped that. So now it's black here and it's white there, just like in levels. Now that midpoint is right here. That's the midpoint. No, I can move this because it's a little off. That's the midpoint in levels. It's called a gamma. That's a midpoint in gamma. Now, the difference here is this information here, all that information, which I can affect in curves. I want to make it lighter. I want to make it darker. There is that, I clicked on the screen, there is that pixel. If I want to make that pixel go up and not make it as dark, there, that pixel, now you see it show up. I can't do that in levels. I'm going to cancel this out and go Command L. So there's the midpoint. There's the lightest point. You saw that in curves. You saw this in curves. You saw I clicked and made it that midpoint curve. But all this information I can't do anything with in levels. It's a more general color correction here. Cancel. I'm going to do this once more. Command M. Curves. So I'm going to adjust the lightest right there and the darkest right here. And I'm going to adjust the midpoint and make that midpoint lighter. Woo, way like too light, but I can pull this down, and that's a little too high. I can pull that down and make the contrast greater. I can pull this down a little bit. So you see how that works. It's much lighter up here than it would be in levels. The general rule of thumb for option reset is that curves is, once I do this, which is to get the full spectrum of black to white, then I could go like this, and this would increase the contrast. That's a gentle S curve. So that increases the contrast of this color that you cannot do in levels. So that's what's fabulous about curves. There's the midpoint, what you can do in levels. Anybody have any questions on this? Did I explain that good enough? Yes? Okay. So here we have some presets right there. Show clipping. And that's other stuff, which I'm not going to try to get into. This is the histogram. See, we want to have that. And here's the channel overlay. Oh, RGB custom. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff here. Let's not go there because I've given you the main stuff that you need to know about levels and curves. Very important. I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to go back to levels because a little simpler, because I want to go now and show you. Okay, I'm going to do this and say, okay, I want that, but I can see that we need a little more blue in Venice because it's a little reddish. So I got to use one of these channels to get the red out. I'm going to go to the green channel and too much that way. And go to this. Oh, that's looking pretty good. It's getting green, a little green, but I got to go a little more blue. I'm gonna go to blue channel, and I don't know which way I'm going until I do it. Oh, blue, beautiful. Too yellow. Oh, blue. All right, so I'm gonna cancel that. That's how you do it. I'm gonna do it. Go back and do it again, but I want to show you graphically how that works. So I'm gonna go to Image, Adjustment, Color Balance, and here is what's happening. Here's the red channel, green channel, blue channel, red, green, blue. And so if I go to this, because I can do it in levels, or I can do it here. I want to go the magenta. Is this red? Let's see. I went to the green, which was magenta, to make this color correction the last time. I'm going to try here and go from the red. On the other side of the red is cyan. So, oh, that's nice. There's cyan. And maybe, now maybe I want a little yellow in here. Or is it blue? Blue? What looks good to you? That works. So there you can work that both ways. Right here is in the color balance. Okay, cancel that. So try it first. Image adjustment levels. And I'm going to go and do this, which is overall general RGB. And then I'm going to come down to which one worked the best. Now, when I'm in this level, I don't want to click this. I want to do it from the mid-tone because I'm in a channel. If I clip this, it's going to really kind of be, it's not going to work. It's going to be too sharp, be sharp. So if I just use the mid-tone there and go down here to blue and use the mid-tone just a little bit to what you think looks good. So go from the mid-tone when you're working in the channels. Start with the black and white if it's clipped when you're working in the RGB. And I'm gonna go okay. I'm gonna just for fun, I'm gonna go back, Command L, look at the levels. There I got everything correct. Now if I wanted to just do the mid-tone in the RGB, I'm gonna and make it lighter or darker. That there I use the mid-tone. 1 is default. So at any rate, okay, we did the color correction. Oh, I wanted to show you one other thing. In adjustment, curves, if I wanted to be psychedelic, I could go to the pencil tool and go back to the flower power days of the 70s and make fun images. And that is a crazy curve, but that's what it looks like on the curves. So there it is, just picking those points just for fun. I wanted to show you that. Reset. So there we are with levels and curves. Now, that said, all right, let's go and do this. Image adjustments. There's all these things. We looked at this very carefully, looked at curves very carefully. I'm going to skip that. Vibrance, I'm going to skip all this stuff for now, but we're going to come back to some of it. We did invert already. Remember that was like the first day. I'm going to come back to some. I'm going to go right down here and do one other one, which is replace color, just for fun. I mean, I could spend a whole bunch of time, like class, going through every one of these as much as I'm going to go through. I need to do it here because this is the main ones. And I'm going to do one more, which is replace color, just to show you that there's a bunch of other opportunities here you can choose to research if you so choose. Maybe we'll come back to one and two other ones. So first of all, I've got this entire image. It's like this is in this window is kind of a simulated mask. And I really want to go and say, I want to make that orange tarp green. That space bar, I made a selection. I'm on the background layer. So I'm only want to affect that, not the rest of everything. So I'm going to go image, adjustment, replace color. And there's my selection right here. I take my fuzziness down and it's black. So I want to make I want to add my color. So, well, I can start off right here and just pick it. And there, my fuzziness. And I now want to start to add to it. There, I've got it all. It's very hard to see. Fuzziness. And there I'm going to go and change the hue right here. There's a hue. I can do that. Make it green. There it's green, but it's not filling it all So I'm going to add to it. And you know what's good about this is that you can see that the value, which is light dark, is this is light here, darker here is held. It's just changing the color. How great is that? Because if I was to make this selection, which I could easily do, and fill it, it'd be a flat color. This isn't. This has all at the value, light, dark. Oop, that is a little much. So I can go Command Z, that'll take it away, or I could go minus. I'm gonna try this, do this fuzziness. Oh, I want to keep that fuzziness low on this. It might be a little bit different when you do it. Oh, Command Z. So that's what I got. That works. If I want to change a color, oh, I can do it there, or I can go like this. And I can take the saturation down, or I can take it up, take the lightness up, take it down. There, I can like that. All right, Command D, try that out. See if you can do that. Make that green. All right, the next thing I wanted to do is, so we've kind of addressed these levels, curves, invert, replace color, and we'll talk about a couple of these. Well, I can go posterize. I was talking about the psychedelic posters. There's posterize. It just fills it out like a poster. It's kind of interesting. I like that. Cancel that. And the numbers were levels. All right. So now we want to go up here and do the next great thing for Photoshop, which is some retouching, which we're going to introduce the next project next week. Next week, we're going to review, or everybody's going to make a presentation of their poem. And then we're going to introduce the next project. And I got another tutorial to do as well. The clone stamp tool is what I'm looking at. That's the first retouching tool that was invented in Photoshop. Here I'm getting up almost pixel level, and I want to get rid of this boat. Now this, the cursor, it goes by cursor size, brush size up here, or you can do it with your bracket keys. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to hold my Option key down, and I get a crosshair with a 0, or crosshairs here, or what is this? It's like crosshairs. And that's the pixel I'm going to choose. Click. I click with my finger, and then I let the Option key up, and from there I'm going to move my cursor over here and go click and drag, and you can see it's pulling where that crosshair is. It's pulling, picking a pixel up and moving it over and replacing it on top of the boat, but it is not really replacing it until I left my finger up. And I'm going to prove that right now, because there I'm starting to repaint that boat because the crosshair is over the boat, so I'm repainting it. So to make this thing work properly, I got to go click, drag, click, and this is how you use this tool. You don't click and drag, you click and replace and click again and replace, because if you do it this way, your fingers, your hand motion will not show. It'll look like it is the boat wasn't there. All right, so that's one way to do this. And when you get to the retouching, when I do professional retouching, that's how you use this tool. Command Z, Option, click, let your finger up off the Option, and then move the cursor over and click. Okay, that's one tool that we're going to use. This is histories. I'm going to go back and go up right to there. I got my boat back in the histories. That's how I like to use the histories. Now I'm going to introduce another tool, which is the spot healing brush. And this tool here works the same way. Option, where I get this circular crosshair, click, oh, healing brush tool. What did that say? Spot healing brush tool. I was in the wrong tool. We're going to do that other one as well. Option, click, and what this is doing, it's unlike the clone tool, which is picking the pixel up. This is blending from the outside of the circle brush. And you can see it's not doing a great job on this boat, because it's blending from edges to the center. That pixel right there that I'm selecting is going to be in the center, and the edges are blending that pixel to the size of the brush. So I'm going to go a bunch of Command Z's and see if I can see if I make this larger, like that big, see if that'll work. Click. Now I've got there. Now that works because the cursor was outside of the boat, and it pulled from the water outside the boat. But the problem here was, well, it was too hard. The edges had to be soft. So I'm going to try it again. Option, click. Note the cursor is bigger than the boat. Almost bigger than the boat. I'm going to try that again. Now it is bigger than the boat. Option, because I put a feather on it to blend. Oh, the feather is too big. All right, so you can see how this, let's make that feather smaller. Now I'll try it. Oh, that was a size. Hardness. All right. One more time. I'm making it. I like to use a bracket keys to change the brush size. It's just easier. Well, 3 clicks, that worked. So that's how that works. But there's a better way. And the better way is that one right here, which is, I think this works. All I have to do is go like this and say, oh, unbelievable. So that one doesn't need the option key, spot healing brush. I made the cursor big enough. Let me try that. Command Z, make that cursor small and see what happens. Well, that's blending from edges, but it's doing a little better job than the previous tool, which was the healing brush tool. These all work according to what you're trying to retouch. Some work better than others. The original is that one. That's the original. And these all work depending upon, like this stuff will work very well on similar pattern or similar value. This last one is a patch tool. And that I'm going to, let me see, gotta remember how this works. Make a patch and pull it over. And I did it the other way. Make a patch of the boat. Pull it over to where there's water and bring it back, and there it works. It's got a little edge. I don't use that too much, but it works. So there is your retouching tools. We have to know, because we're going to use those extensively in our professional retouching exercise. Oh, one other thing here that we got to figure out, which is the clouds. Open with Photoshop. There's the clouds. I think this is the end of this tutorial. There's the clouds that are floating. Now I want to make the sky those clouds instead of this washed out. And what would be fun is if I could say, all right, everybody, you should figure out how to do that and show me how to do it. And then everybody does it their own way. And And then we go around and show everybody. That's a really, the most fun to do it is that way, but we can't do it here. So I'm just going to demonstrate it. It's more fun for you to have to try to think it out, because you really know how to do this. It's a matter of figuring it out. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this by, there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but I'll do this. I'll do it this way. I'll do it the simplest. There, I've got clouds above the sky, right? And this is going to be an introduction to layer masks. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to go down here and go down to the background, select that, and select the sky. And I'm going to do that by, I can't do it by this object tool, but I can do it by the quick selection tool. Got to be on a background layer. I can select it. Now that is I got to make my cursor smaller and hold my shift key down, or add that button there and select it. Hold my shift key down and select it. And I'm dragging it. Now I got to hold my option key down because I want to keep that and make my cursor smaller. Hold my option key down. I like keystrokes, but these buttons do the same thing. And I want to hold my shift key down and add that. There I have made that selection. Now, if I wanted to go get a cup of coffee, I'd save that selection and I'd go sky and go OK. And then go Command D, get my cup of coffee, go select, load selection, sky, OK. That's that selection, but I don't want to do anything with that selection on the background. I want to do it on the clouds. So I want to go make sure that I know what is selected. The clouds are selected, the poles down here, and the steeple is not. So I want to inverse that. Select, inverse. Now the steeple is selected and the clouds aren't. So that's why it's very important to be able to check and make sure if what is selected and what isn't, and then you have to come up here to inverse. And I'm going to be on the top layer, and I'm going to hit delete. Yay, I did that. But the problem is I've got holes in the clouds right there. So that was the old-fashioned way to do it. That's how we did that with the first painting mask. And I want to go and do it a new way with a layer mask now, a new way. So I'm going to go to histories and then Command D, and I'm going to dump this layer here. This is, somebody showed us how to do this week, or this class. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to be on this layer, and I'll make a layer mask. And I'm going to choose reveal all. Both these, all that stuff works, but I'm going to use the top. Reveal all. There's a mask. There's no mask there because I have not saved the selection to it. This here, this is very important because this is why you have to have layers on screen at all times. That little frame right there means I'm engaged on that mask which has nothing in it. That means I'm painting on a picture. So I want to be working on a mask. So I want to have that little frame engaged. And that's very important for everybody to understand that and look at it so you make sure you're in the right place. Now I'm going to go and take that eyeball off because I want to select my selection, make my selection like I did a few minutes ago, which is select, oh, what was it? I forgot. It was quick selection tool. Let's try something different. Magic wand tool, tolerance of 50, perfect, shift, perfect, shift, perfect, not perfect. That's perfect. This isn't. Option, lower my tolerance. Well, let's try it with the option without lowering the tolerance. Oh, didn't work. Command Z. Oh, why don't I just jump tools? Quick selection tool. Shift, adding to the selection. Oh, wait a minute. Command Z. What is the selection? That's a selection. I want to add to the selection. So I'm going to come down here to my my quick selection tool, and I'm doing this, I want to add to the selection, I'll use that button. No, I want to subtract from the selection, I'll use that button. There, I got it mixed up. I wanted to toggle through all of that to show you that you can use these selection tools, and you don't have to use them one at a time, you can combine them. And you can add and subtract with the buttons or with a keystroke. So there I got, now I'm gonna make sure, and it's very easy to get confused on what is the selection, what isn't. I did that for a second. That's the selection, that's not the selection. And I wanna come and take this, and I wanna put it, that's the selection, that's not the selection. So somebody out there is gonna say, hey, Jim, you gotta inverse that. Oh, okay, I had to inverse that. So now that's the selection. I wanna go in here and select that mask. So I'm engaged in it with that little frame like I told you. I want to make sure that I got my foreground and background color, and I'm not sure that that's the right orientation. So I'm going to hit delete, and it is. I'm going to go Command Z. I'm going to change that orientation by those buttons, hit delete, and nothing happened. So I know that that's a wrong orientation. So I'm going to hold my keystroke down. Instead of using this double-headed arrow, I'm going to hit X. Now I'm going to hit delete, and there, I did it right one more time. And what's so great about this, I'm going to go Command D. I'm engaged in this layer mask, and there it is. There's the mask right there. But I can come over here and I can disable layer mask. I still have the clouds. That's what's beautiful about this. I have not deleted the information because I made it in a layer mask. And if I go to another layer, and you note the layer mask disappears. So it's linked to this layer. And if I want to, I can take that link that's linking the image and the mask, I can knock it off, and I can go to my move tool and move the image, or I'm moving the mask because I'm engaged in the mask. See that little frame? Command Z. Boy, this was a lot of information, wasn't it? There, I'm moving the clouds. So if I didn't want the clouds to be, I can scale those clouds, I can move them. I want to see the top of that steeple, so I'm going to move the clouds up there instead of down here. I want to see the top of that steeple. And I can link that again. Woo-wee! Having fun? Are you still out there, folks? Any questions? Kira, hi. Alexandra, hi. Thank you, Princess, for the thumbs up. Lily, hello. Any questions? Paulina, have something to say today? No? SC, are you there? Sylvia, thank you for the thumbs up.
I just resubmitted the project that I did before. I emailed you a different version of it, and then I just deleted the project from the Dropbox and I put in the new one.
Okay,
So
great.
Know about that.
I'll follow up.
Okay.
So if there's no questions, we covered a lot of stuff today. And you're going to do this tutorial and finish your poem, grid, painting, and submit it next week, and we'll review that. So we're done today, right? Okay. Lena, how are you today? Good. All right. So that's it, folks. Then goodbye for today. Goodbye. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.